Now I realize a lot of you watching this video report, you're not customers, you don't come to the site to buy, but you watch the video because you want gambling advice. So here's my advice for all the college conference tournaments this week. If you're out there handicapping the games yourself and you're going to be betting them, if you didn't handicap or pay attention to conferences like the Colonial Conference, the Horizon League, Conference USA, a lot of the smaller conferences all season long, don't be betting them this week. Seriously. If you haven't paid attention for those conferences, the smaller conferences, the past 3 months, don't think suddenly, just because it's the college conference tournament week, that you're going to be able to pick winners involving these teams that you've ignored over the past 3 months just because it's the postseason. It doesn't work that way. That's why you're not going to find me with plays on NC Wilmington and Elon this week. You're not going to find me going into the Atlantic Sun or the Sun Belt Conference this week. Haven't paid attention all season. Why would I do it now? I think that's the single biggest mistake guys make, gamblers make, and handicappers alike in the month of March. Same thing when the big dance gets underway next week. Suddenly guys are going, oh, I think I'm going to play Murray State, because now suddenly, even though I have no clue what happened in the Ohio Valley Conference, because it's one game and I'm going to look at this particular team in its first round game, I know something about it. Now granted, every single play is a 50-50 betting proposition, but if you don't have experience with that particular team and you don't have that background information that gives you that wealth of knowledge about that particular team, then what are you doing betting on it? That's why I alluded to a couple of days ago in this particular, and in one of the video reports, that, you know, at the outset of the season, there's always about 20 teams that you always have some familiarity with. And as the course of the season develops, those teams may change, but then suddenly that bucket of teams, not only those teams, but a particular conference that those teams play in, that wealth of knowledge expands. So for me this season, didn't start that way, but the Big 12 became my best conference because it started with teams like Texas Tech and Kansas State, but by nature of handicapping those particular teams, their opponents, I became experts in them as well. Same thing with the SEC. It started early in the year with Auburn, but then it moved on to LSU and their opponents. Well, it just keeps expanding. And those conferences become your go-to conferences. And again, at this time of year, if you haven't handicapped those particular teams or those particular conferences, stay away. You're not doing yourself any favors. Okay, one conference that has been very good to me all season long has been the West Coast Conference. And that's why after yesterday, cashing in with another raise the bar 20-dime winner with Wisconsin, although the Badgers did give me a little scare after blowing that big lead in regulation and needing overtime to come back and get the cover against Ohio State. Today I have a top-rated 15-dime best bet. It's in the West Coast Conference. It's on Gonzaga and Pepperdine. Now, it's an interesting thing. You know, Gonzaga has been very good to me. But you have to be asking yourself the question tonight, is Al on Gonzaga, who he's ridden many, many times this season, or is this one of those trap games? Gonzaga 24-point favorite. The game isn't in Spokane. Gonzaga has been idle now for over a week because by virtue of winning the West Coast Conference regular season championship, they get the double bye into the semifinals, taking on a Pepperdine team that has won 3 games in 3 days, Thursday through Saturday, already at the Orleans Arena in Las Vegas, and they are definitely wearing Cinderella's slipper. So that's my 15-dime best bet today. And of course, last Monday and Tuesday, I hit 15-dime best bets. I've won 5 of the last 7 days short term, and I've been the hottest handicapper here at the site over the past 8.5 months. And that's the half price play of the day selection for me. And the coupon code is half. For your complimentary play, I'm going to take a look at the other semifinal game in that tournament tonight, where another team is wearing the Cinderella slipper as well, because Cinderella wore 2 slippers, of course, right? And that is going to be the number 7 seed, and that is going to be San Diego. Because San Diego, just like Pepperdine, has won 3 straight games in a 3-day period. A San Diego team that was the number 7 seed, as I said, in the tournament, beat Portland Thursday by 20 points, beat Santa Clara Friday night by 17 points, and then just absolutely took BYU to the woodshed on Saturday, a game in which they were up by 27 points at halftime, expanded that lead to 69-25 early in the second half. And this was a BYU team that dominated San Diego in both regular season meetings. Well, tonight they take on St. Mary's, a team that won 6 of its final 8 regular season games, and the only 2 losses both came against Gonzaga, home and away. St. Mary's is a 5-point favorite, and this game goes at 11:30 Eastern Time. Sometimes I use free plays here because I love them. Sometimes I use free plays here because they're games that I find fascinating, that I handicap the games and I wanted to talk to them with you. I know it's a one-sided conversation, but hey, I talk to myself regularly. What the hell? This particular game here, I think, is the most interesting on the college card, other than the game that I'm actually using as my best bet. So I looked at the 2 regular season meetings between these 2 teams. In the first, both of them won by St. Mary's, by the way. And the overwhelming trend that I saw in reviewing the box scores is that St. Mary's simply dominated San Diego on the boards. The first game they lost at home. San Diego did 66-46 in the first meeting. That one they shot 29.4%. San Diego did 29.4% at home, and they got out-rebounded in that one 43-30. In the game at St. Mary's, they lost 76-59, and that one they got out-rebounded 40-29. They got taken to the task on the offensive boards 12-4, and that advantage led to a 17-2 edge in second chance points for St. Mary's. So what has changed here tonight? Well, just like what I was alluding to with my play on Gonzaga tonight, you have to say, how does the layoff affect the team that has the double bye? In this case, St. Mary's, because the top 2 seeds in the West Coast Conference get the double bye here, right? Is St. Mary's going to be prepped? Is St. Mary's going to be ready? I just don't think, even though San Diego is playing so well, and San Diego is coming off the huge double revenge win against BYU, is Cinderella's slipper going to fall off for San Diego in this particular game? Because did St. Mary's get shorter suddenly just because they've had a week and a half off? I mean, it's still, St. Mary's still has the same height. It still has the same ability to dominate the boards against San Diego as it did in both regular season meetings. You can't teach height. San Diego didn't get any taller from losing the first 2 games. St. Mary's should still dominate the boards. And at this price point, -5, I've got to lay the points with the Gales. Now, I'm not a big St. Mary's fan, okay? But I still think that you're going to see, once again, a St. Mary's Gonzaga championship game. Now, whether Gonzaga can cover a 24-point spread, well, hey, that's my best bet, and that's the question to be answered. But I think the way to go in this particular game is to go ahead and lay the 5 points with St. Mary's in the other semifinal of the West Coast Tournament tonight, and that's your complimentary play. Wish you well, guys, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow when we do this one more time. Good luck, everybody.